Before I get started, guys, this video can be listened to just as a podcast. Just minimize it. There won't be any graphics at all in this. This is purely for your ears, so feel free to play one of your games or something while you're listening. Hi guys, welcome to my first real official Q&A for my Worth a Buy channel. My patrons and donators have been bombarding me with questions over the past few weeks. I haven't read the questions yet, so they're all really brand new to me, but I have them all prepared, and I'm going to get straight into them. So the first one is from Arrowhead, who says, have you considered doing a mod spotlight for Bannerlord? There is a 10,000 BC and Crusades mod coming out for the game immediately after the game launches. If they are DLC kind of things, then yes, but generally speaking, I like to do things that have a monetary value. If they're just player mods, then no, but these don't sound like player mods, or you wouldn't know that they're coming out, I guess. So yeah, there's a chance that I will be. If the real game changing mods, then yeah, I would do it. I'm definitely doing Bannerlords, but I don't want to just focus on a lot of content for any specific game. I like to just do a game then move on. So we'll see. Vince Baker. Hey Mac, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on the new Red Dead Redemption. I'm really looking forward to it, but I'm a little hesitant about how many people they're going to make you play as in the game, with talks of possibly being up to 7 different people. I love GTA 5, but it started to get a little tiresome of having multiple characters to interact with, and their stories pulling you in different directions all the time was kinda immersion breaking for me. Whereas in Red Dead Redemption, John Marston's story really sucked you in and had you invested in his life and rooting for him. I totally agree with you. I am not a fan at all of games that like switch characters all the time, and you're thinking, all right, where's this guy again? What's he doing? Oh yeah, he's doing that, and you're rushing around like that. I think it's a bad idea. It totally breaks immersion, and I don't think it's going to go down too well in Red Dead Redemption 2. Worse though is that it isn't coming out on the frickin' PC, which means I'm going to have to play it on the fucking console with one of them stupid horrible controllers. I played the first Red Dead Redemption on the Xbox 360. I loved the game, hated the controls. I needed the aim assist because trying to aim accurately and quickly with your thumb is just, it's bullshit. It's awful. It's so limiting a controller. I don't know why people like controllers. I guess it's all you've got with a console, but honestly, there you go. The fucking shit. I mean, compared to a mouse and keyboard, the accuracy that you can have with a mouse is just phenomenal. It's, I don't know. I'm not going to turn this into a console controller rant, but seriously, let us have it on the PC, please, because it is a great game. And I hate controllers. Mr. EOS, we see games all the time that should be great but end up being disappointing. What games did you think would suck but ended up being good? Well, Titanfall 2. I really thought that was going to be a pile of shit, but I was pleasantly surprised at how good that was, except the multiplayer with the extra vision. But the campaign was great. Battlefield 1, I expected that to suck, because it's a Battlefield game, and let's be honest, they've all kind of sucked since 1942, and this one didn't. It had a really good campaign, and I liked it a lot. FTL was a game that someone told me to play, and they said it's great. I had one look at it and wanted to vomit, but that was just a fabulous game. Prison Architect is another. I thought it would suck, but loved it. The Howler, what was that, £1 or something? And hilarious party game. Subnautica is another one. Didn't really look appealing to me, but when I started to play it, I really liked it. City Skyline is another one that comes to mind. I wasn't really into the what was it called, Sim City. I was when the first one came out, but then it just got a bit boring, and when I saw City Skylines I thought it's going to be shit, but it turned out to be amazing. So yeah, there's a few. Fearless Warrior, he says, what do you think about the game Star Citizen? What are your thoughts about it? Will it be good or bad? And if you are going to do a WAB? Yes, I hope it's going to be good, but I don't think it will be. I'm waiting for the Squadron 42, which is the campaign, to drop before I go in and do it. But I think Mr. Roberts is just I better be careful what I say, but when I was watching the money coming in, and they were just like spending all of the time thinking of stretch goals. It was just, you could see what was going on. I mean, some of the stretch goals were just laughable, but it was just like, give us another million and we'll add swivel chairs to the cockpit. And then that would happen. Hey, you got swivel chairs to the cockpit. We need another million, guys. And if you give us another million, we'll have whoopee cushions on the swivel chairs in the cockpit. You know, it was getting like that. It was just a fucking joke. Cash grab came to mind straight away. So I don't really have any faith that he's going to deliver any kind of amazing game at all. But if he does, I hope he does, because I really want a good immersive RPG space game. Elite should have been it, but Elite kinda... What the problem with Elite, even though this isn't a question, what the problem with Elite is they didn't expand on it in the right direction, and it kind of fell a bit flat and got a bit boring, which is a shame, because that is a really good game and it had massive potential. But they decided to go onto planets, which I didn't think was a good idea at all. Yeah, there you go. I think they should have brought in more of a war going on between the Thargoids and the humans and shit, but yeah, maybe that's coming later on. When is your birthday? This is the same guy. It's in May. It's in May. What is your favourite game that changed your life? Elite, maybe. Didn't change my life. None of them changed my life, but Elite helped me through a bad time in my life in the 80s. On my Commodore 64, it allowed me to immerse myself in the game and blot out what was going on around me. I mean, I wasn't abused or anything like that, but there was hell on in the house. I had an alcoholic brother and it was just not good. What do you miss about games these days that I'm not seeing anymore? I would say challenge, immersion and excitement of a new game. I don't get as excited now when I see a new game dropping, whereas there was something about driving to the shop and picking that game box off the shelf, that shiny new game box with all the artwork, and reading a thick manual. I remember the Microprose games, you know, like Gunship, Apache Gunship, and Decision in the Desert, and all these great games that came out back in the day. And you'd just pick that box up, you'd get home, you'd take out the instructions, and you'd literally read the whole manual while the game was installing. And it went over everything for you. There was even keyboard layouts in some of them. You would just lie over the top of your keyboard. Them were the great days. They were great days of gaming. And then you tried to run the game and it wouldn't work, so you'd have to run MemMaker to free up more memory and stuff like that. But it was great. I miss all that. I miss the level of immersion that you would get. Now it's all lazy. Cutscenes have ruined games. Before cutscenes, the story had to be told through your character. If you look at Half-Life, Half-Life doesn't really use cutscenes. What Half-Life does is it plays it all out in front of you while you still have control, which means that it might not always go the same way. I mean, they were proper games. Now everything is just glowing hand-holding with a cutscene explaining everything. And if you can't see it, it lets you see through the fucking wall. It's... I think the standard of gaming skill has gone down really dramatically in the last 20 years. I think your average game player from these days now would get absolutely raped off the average game player from the 80s. I know that off when I watch these top players playing games like Overwatch, and I look at how good they are, and I just think, wow, you wouldn't last 10 seconds in Quake 2. It's just from like my day. It was... But I think it's because you had to be good, because there was literally no hand-holding back then. Everything was brutal. Multiplayer was just absolutely brutal. It was just insane. Now it's kind of, you know, it's kind of... And I'm not saying that gamers today are crap. I mean, that's clearly not what I'm saying. There's a lot of really amazing gamers out there. Certainly plenty that'll kick my ass. I'm just saying, generally speaking, I think people have got so used to being led by the hand. I mean, I look at Dark Souls. I look no further than Dark Souls, and I see the huge euphoria about how much skill that game requires. And when I played it, I burst out laughing. It was like, really, you think this is skill? All it is just pressing a couple of buttons and letting it roll around. You don't even have to... All it is just timing. It's like whack-a-mole. That's all it is. It's and when I see people saying, hey, you know, name of the boss down, and thinking that they've achieved something, I just think, fucking hell, mate. You want to have played Jailbreak on Quake 2 when your whole team's locked up in jail and you're the only one left and you've got to go in there and free them all. Or Medal of Honor, you know. I mean, I've got a great Medal of Honor video. It's called Operation Ronnie Biggs, and that's Jailbreak. And that, when I think back at what you had to do in that to just score, score Jailbreak, it was just insane. You had to be, you know, amazingly good. You had to know exactly what you were doing. There was no way the game was going to help you out. You had to do everything. You had to know the map inside out. If you didn't know the map, you didn't last long. You know, throwing smoke grenades in the right place, then running around so that the enemy would not be able to see you through the smoke, then take out a couple of the guards, then go and release the prisoners, then run over the road and get on the heavy machine gun to cover them because they had no weapons. And all of this, and the pressure's on because they're all expecting you to do it. And, you know, that took a lot of skill. It wasn't just about being able to shoot somebody in the head. It was about knowing strategy, knowing tactics, knowing when to do stuff. I miss all of that in games now. I really miss all of that. It's either Star Wars Battlefront, just pew, 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 or that's it. And the tactics have gone. I mean, you've heard me rant on about Battlefield a lot. And the reason I love Battlefield 1942 is because it wasn't a hectic shooter. It was a strategic shooter. And the map was so big and the objectives were so well placed that there would be maybe 6 or 7 battles going on at the same time in the game in various parts of the map. And you'd call for help and you'd get it from the air cover, directed to different parts of the map where there would be, maybe you'd be losing to the Germans and losing a position. And now when you play Battlefield, you get none of that, because what you get now with all these games is just a big mess of people shooting, and you know the area is just changing hands all the time. It's just chaotic mess, and there is no immersion. It's just you jump in and it's just enemies coming from left, right, behind you. It's just bullshit. It's just pew pew. They're just big pew pew fests because people don't know how to design games anymore. And I'm getting totally off topic, but there you go. Can you do your playthroughs with a camcorder on your face to capture your reactions? No, I hate face cam. You know, I mean, I've done face cam before. You can see them on Mac and Mesh, but it's not that I'm scared to show my face. I mean, my face is on loads of videos if you search, but it's just that I don't like it. When I see like a screen with a game on, I want to see the whole freaking screen. I don't want to see someone's face. You know, it's just like, please quote this in your Q&A. Mac, thank you so much for all your hard work and funny videos. We love you. Don't ever stop. Well, I won't until I die. Time for a drink. That's J2O, guys. With vodka. Matthew, my question for you is, where do you come up with the idea of having a bell in your videos? It's absolute class. Well, that was an accident. I got the bell off my wife for Christmas, and it was to take the piss so that when I wanted a cup of tea, I would just hit the bell. And I was playing this, I was doing a WAB of a game that annoyed the fuck out of me so much, and the bell was just there and I just whacked it. And the rest is history, as they say. Alexander John, what are your goals for the mix of types of video you publish? Specifically, what fraction of your content do you plan to be WABs, and what fraction will be Max Corner Let's Play content? I ask because I'm primarily a Max Corner fan and wish there was more content there. Well, yeah. The trouble with is, since I am now doing this for a living, I have to put most of the content on Worth a Buy because that's where I get my wages from. So Max Corner has definitely suffered. If I was to get business advice, they would tell me to shut down Max Corner. They literally would. I mean, it's a no-brainer that I should shut down that channel and concentrate solely on Worth a Buy, because Max Corner brings me no revenue whatsoever. I mean, to give you an idea, I spent the best part of a day doing the Walking Dead videos for Max Corner. I did a little video in my kitchen of Rabbit being in a fridge with sunglasses on the knife, that video will make more than the entire day's work I did for Max Corner. I mean, you know, we're not talking much money, but you know, that's how little I make on Max Corner. It's just a few pounds, you know. So financially, it's just a total waste of time me even doing anything on Max Corner. But that's not why I do this. I do Max Corner because I love it, and I'm never going to get rid of that channel, and I do try to do as much as I can. I mean, all my streams are done on Max Corner because I love the community that I have there. They're just, I mean, I love the Worth a Buy community as well, but it's more personal on Max Corner. I love the interaction with it, but it's probably going to turn into a streaming only channel with, aside from my big playthroughs such as The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and Dishonored, and big games like that. But I think the small games, I don't think I'll be doing a great deal more on that, which is a big shame, I know. But I have to live, I have to pay the bills, you know, and you know, I mean, to give you an idea of finances, just to live, every penny I make from YouTube doesn't cover all my bills and everything. So, you know, without the donations, I'd be fucked. Balsakistan. It seems like the console ports have really gotten better during the later part of 2016, exception of COD. Are you starting to have more faith in these kind of games going into 2017? Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think I've been pleasantly surprised, especially at the latter end of 2016, that some games that have been pretty much developed for console have ran brilliantly on the PC, and that does give me hope, but we're still not there yet. There's still too many games that are shit on the PC, and so we do need to keep really hammering the developers when they f*** up and release stuff that's totally shit and unoptimized and crap. They should not be forgiven. And one of the biggest gripes I've got is these fair weather gamers who are happy to thumb a game up or to say, yeah, it's worth buying, or give it a good review when it's an absolute fucking mess. And we really need to come down harder on the developers, because if you don't, they'll just turf out more of the same shit. And there's too many happy clappy yes men out there that play games, and especially in game reviewers. And you know, I really do think, you know, we need to grow a pair sometimes and tell the developers, hey, look, this is just not acceptable. Charles Waite. Based on the two recent AAA thumbs up videos, those being Titanfall and Battlefield 1, and the recent wave of thumbed up indie games, do you think that the gaming industry has improved from the days of chokes, slaughtering ground and vomits, Witcher 3 combat, excluding that pile of dodo dung called Call of Duty? No, I don't. I think we kind of got lucky. I mean, I thought 2016 was a pretty poor year for gaming. I mean, if you look at the whole of the year, nothing really good dropped until the back end of the year. It was only the back end of the year, October time really, that we started to get some pretty decent games. And I don't think that the gaming industry is improving at all. I think the gaming industry is still just pandering to the wrong people. It's in a mess. It's in an absolute mess. And the indie gaming market has gone in the opposite direction of what I thought it would go. And I blame Steam 100% for that. Absolutely blame Steam for that. You know, early access could have been great. Initially when it first came out, there was some good ideas being funded there through early access. But because Steam totally refused to monitor the standard of gaming that went out onto its own platform, it allowed the likes of the Slaughtering Grounds and many other people who can't fucking program, they think they're programmers but they're not, to just release half-assed shit and charge money for it. And there was no way of refunding it, and it's just poisoned the gaming industry. I mean, if you look at how many new games release daily on Steam and how many of them are shit, you'll see the state of the gaming industry. I mean, yes, now we can refund games, but the damage is done. You know, Steam need to get their fucking finger out and stop allowing people to sell their shit on there. You know, we should have standards. You should let me be the fucking guy, like customs. Hey, show me a game, I'll tell you whether you can go on Steam or not. You'd hardly see a fucking new game on there. Keith Walsh, what did you make of Digital Homicide Story? That's the suing of Jim Sterling, I just think they're a joke. I just think they are. I think what they are, right, in my opinion, is they personify greed. The guys at Digital Homicide, they are everything that's wrong with the gaming industry. Not only are they shit at programming, but they are liars. When you read their website about the care and love that they put into games, I mean, f*** off. They are a joke, absolute f***ing joke. I'd ban them from ever making a game again. But it just goes on to what I was saying to Charles's question. It's, you know, standards. We have no standards. There is no, like, ombudsman for gaming. You know, I mean, you couldn't do this in any other industry, but you can in gaming, and I think it's bad. Do you ever think Steam could stop trading as we could end up losing all our games? Yes, I do. I mean, I've heard that Microsoft are trying to out Steam with their own store, and this is just what I heard. I've heard that they're trying to get everybody onto Windows 10, as we all know, and that they're going to pretty much gimp the Steam store to run on Windows 10. That's what I heard, so that it makes it harder for us to access Steam. But I want to see some competition for Steam. I really do. I don't think it's right that Steam corner the market, because they are the ones that's allowing a lot of this shit to get out, you know. And so I'm all for competition in everything. I really am. I don't think we'd ever lose our games, though. Well, I hope not. Any suggestions on how you would protect gamers from such a thing with future security features? Stop buying the games on Steam, maybe? Again, it just comes with competition, really, doesn't it? I mean, we need more competition. We need more places, because even if you buy from the likes of Greenman Gaming, you're still just getting Steam codes at the end of the day. You know, we need another way of DRM without Steam, you know? But, yeah, we don't have it yet. Do you think at any stage you might be in a position to fund your own game? Nah, I doubt it. I'd have to be like a millionaire to do that, the kind of game that I would want to do. What type of game would you be most interested in making? An immersive space game, I think. Have any developers contacted you with bribes, and could you name and shame them? Only mobile ones, and there haven't been bribes. I have been offered, I got offered $1,000 to do something on Hawken on the PC, and when I replied to them and said, I'm interested in your offer, but if I don't like the game, am I allowed to rape its face with my bell? They never got back to me, so I assume I wouldn't be allowed to rape its face with a bell, and I would have raped its face with a bell, so I declined their offer. I also turned down, I think, $600 to do a mobile game, because again, when I asked them if I could hate on the game, they wouldn't say no. Now I'm still waiting for the first developer to turn around to me and say, no, you are not allowed to hate the game. In fact, we have these words that we would like you to say, because the day that happens is the day I make a video to expose it. I'm just waiting. It will happen. It will happen. The more subs I get, the closer I'm getting to some little twat trying to bribe me. But it has happened, but only in the constraints of what I've said, which is no proof, because like I said, they didn't say that I couldn't thumb it down. But as you've seen, I've never done one yet. I've never took a bribe at all. I've never been paid. I mean, a few people have accused me of being paid for doing the Greenman Gaming videos. I've never, ever. Greenman Gaming have never once even asked me to do a video or paid me to do a video. They don't even know I've done the videos, you know. It's just, I do them. In fact, there was a guy in the stream that asked me to do it. He said do a sale on the, you know, Greenman Gaming for summer, I think it was, so I did it. So yeah. Have any developers blacklisted you? I've been banned off 4 developers from posting on the Steam forums, mainly the anime ones, for accusing their customers of being paedophiles. That's it. How do you intend to be an honest developer interviewer at E3 in such a corrupt industry without getting blacklisted everywhere? We all want the truth, but not at the expense of losing our one sane voice. Well, no one can ever blacklist me, because I don't get my games off them anyway. I buy most of my games, so, you know, if Electronic Arts turn around and say, oh, we're never going to send you any more games anymore, I'll say, well, you've never sent me any anyway. You know, neither have Ubisoft, neither has anybody. The only people that ever send me games that are from a developer are little indie games. I don't think I've ever been given a AAA game. This is why I get donations. I have to buy them all. I mean, I was doing through my accounts, and there was one week I think I spent £180 on games on Greenman Gaming, just ordering all these AAA games that I had to cover, stuff that I've never ever played since I did the WAB, you know, because they were shit. And it is expensive doing this for a living, you know. Me expenditure is off the freaking scale, but you got to do it because I'm never going to get them off developers. I mean, yeah. So, you know, I don't give a shit. I mean, I'm lucky that I was trained to interview people because of my job, so I've never really been scared of interviewing anybody. I don't ever get starstruck because I've interviewed celebrities, and I remember I did 15 years working with a production company who did TV pilots and stuff. So I'm used to sticking a microphone in people's faces. I'm used to videoing awkward situations because I did some pilots for reality TV where people were arguing and stuff, and the director would say, "Stick your camera in their face, get this argument." Okay. You know, so, you know, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if I get thrown out of E3. You know, I'll speak my mind and I'll tell them what I think. And yeah, I might need a few bodyguards when I go and talk to the Witcher 3 developers. Have any of your YouTube videos been banned with this new system? You are controversial after all. No, they haven't. Do you ever think you have been harsh on any game you wabbed? Yes, sometimes I think I was a bit too harsh. Most of the time though, I wish I'd explained things maybe for the retards. A great example is Witcher 3. I mean, the Witcher 3 video is just hilarious, really, because if you actually watch that video, I didn't really dislike the game that much. I said how great the map was, how great the characters were, how brilliant the story was, how immersive the whole game was. All I said about that game is the reason that I thumbed it, and I actually said to people, you should buy it, really, because it is a terrific game. What I said was the combat and movement was very, very clunky and spammy, which it is. You stick your poison on your sword, you throw down your quemmy magic, and then you spam a few buttons. And you know, no one on here is ever going to tell me that's not what you do. That's all you do every single time you're having a fight. There's no kind of skill involved. I mean, unless you call, oh, he's about to attack me, I press this button and I will roll over there. That's not fucking skill. You know, you want to play something where you have to move your character yourself in that fight, and you know, to duck, you can't roll anywhere. You've got to use timed blocks, you know, whereas in Witcher 3, hold down the block button and it'll just parry, 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 parry. You know, I didn't like that. It was very dumbed down. You could see it was for consoles. Again, you could see that because of the stiffness of controllers and the limitations of controllers, the game had been catered around that. I mean, when you're using a controller, you're so limited to what you can actually do defensively. You know, you're limited to just a button. Yeah, press X and you'll roll over there. You know, press this one and you'll roll over there. They don't have a choice. If they're going to make games specifically for a controller, then they're going to be dumbed down. That's not me just hating on controllers, that's just a fact. Because when you have a keyboard and a mouse, you are so much more versatile with what you can do. That's just a given. You can do 1,000 times more with a mouse and keyboard than you can with a controller. A controller's too stiff. It's too limited to what you can actually do. One button, boom. That's why you have these cover shooters. It's like, yeah, press the button, you'll roll over there and go behind there and get cover. You try doing that where you only have crouch and stand, it's a hell of a lot harder than if you're using a mouse and keyboard. And I didn't like that in Witcher 3. I wish that it had really good mouse and keyboard controls and it would have been set up for that, but it wasn't. When you tried to use a mouse and keyboard, it was so clunky and cumbersome and horrible, and that's why I thumbed it down. I didn't say it was a bad game. I just said that for me, that's a game breaker, but for you, it's probably not, so buy it. And everybody leapt on it and thought that I hated the game. And, you know, it's so funny. I still get the hate today. A lot of it. Every day I will get hate from that. I really did start a war that I didn't intend. But it's given me so much pleasure reading all of their deluded comments that it's probably the best thing that I've ever done. That video alone has earned me hundreds of dollars just because of people telling their mates to go and watch it and comment and have a go at it and thumb it down. They're making me a lot of money still. It's so funny. I absolutely love that whole thing of The Witcher 3. It's just brilliant. It's probably, you know, it's up there with my Postal 2 video that I did on Max Corner. Not quite as good as that one, but it's nearly there. It really is. But yeah, Witcher 3 was a pretty decent game. But as for being overly harsh on a game, there's probably a few. Casey Hicks, I guess one question I have is where you got your awesome keyboard skills. Were you self-taught? Were you in a band? That's more of one question, isn't it? Well, I don't think I have awesome keyboard skills. I only ever got up to grade 1 standard. But when I was about 6, my mother, who's been a piano teacher for over 40 years, she tried to teach me the piano, but I hated it. And I'd rather go out and play football. So that only lasted about 6 months, and I got up to grade 1 standard, and that was it. But when I was 16 or 15, I got a little keyboard, and I started to play that. And there was me and a few of my mates used to play in a garage, and we used to play orchestral manoeuvres in the dark stuff. And one of the lads that I used to play with is actually now a session pianist and keyboard player, and he's backed Madonna and Seal and loads of guys, and he's become very successful with it. I stopped playing when I got to 17, and I started to go out and drink and all that, you know, that whole life, and I never played it since. And I bought this keyboard that I've got now just earlier this year, and that's the first time I've played since, well, what, decades. Absolute decades. So I can't really play, but my mother always used to say that I was a natural on the keyboard, but I've just kind of started to learn myself. And this whole year I've hardly had a chance to play it much, but I do like to dabble. I mean, I've played it a bit this week when I was getting a bit stressed out. I just turned it up and just started blasting out a few things, and so I love it. It's a kind of thing that winds me down, but I wouldn't say that I'm a very good keyboard player at all, but I just love it. I'm just a hobbyist, really. John Daly, dear Mac, I hope I'm not too late with a suggestion for the Q&A and gaming video talk. I would love to hear your views on something that is becoming common with certain game genres, procedural generation. Where do you stand on its use in gaming? Should it be used, and if yes, what are the limitations of its use? What is your favourite game where it has been used successfully? An obvious example of it being a disaster is No Man's Sky. It is used in Elite with some degree of success, but one of the common accusations is that Elite is somewhat lifeless and lacks interesting content. I was actually going to mention Elite. All of this bearing in mind the distinction between RNG and procedural generation. Thanks for reading. Well, I'm dead against it in any kind of survival game because I want a handcrafted map. I want the developers to actually take the time to make a map. They've made the game, so why not make a map that fits the game? All this procedural generation is wank. 7 Days to Die did it, and I hated it because you can just keep walking forever and you get lost, you know, trying to find your friends. It's just bullshit. I mean, have a huge map. I'm all for huge maps in games, but let's not make them procedurally generated. I mean, No Man's Sky was a good example of it done badly. Elite, you kind of got away with it because the infinite nature of space kind of lets you get away with it in Elite, but certainly for stuff like, you know, when you're walking around in a survival game, no, definitely not. Gregor's Tourage, what types of games you don't like and why? For example, I've noticed you don't play 2D platformers. I think many of them require some skills to complete, so in theory you should be pleased, right? I know this question is not exactly about gaming industry, so feel free to skip it. Please don't bother reading my name, it's impossible. Well, I've already done it. So, yeah, 2D platformers. The reason I don't like platform games is because at one time they were the only game you could actually get. On the Commodore 64, when that first came out, everything was a 2D platformer pretty much, you know, from the likes of Manic Miner. I mean, you did have other stuff, Horror School Skiing, stuff like that. The Atari console, which was the first ever gaming platform I had, That didn't actually have any platform games. That was before platforms were invented. So, the first type of games was just like a square that you would control, and that's a tank, guys. And it fired a smaller square, which was your bullet. And when you had another tank at the other side of the screen that did the same, and there was a line which was a barricade that you could hide behind. I mean, that was the gaming of the first gaming that I remember, apart from Pong, which my friend had, which was like the tennis thing. So when the 64 came along, and the Spectrum, and the Dragon 32, and the BBC computer, we had a massive influx of platform games. I mean, there was Dig Dug, there was I can't even remember them all, but nearly all my games were 2D platformers. I got so fed up. Of this is why I don't like this pixelated artwork that you see in games. It's because that's all I ever had. That's all I ever saw. It was just everywhere, and I just got so freaking sick of it. And when I see it now in games in 2016, I think, bloody hell, man, you know, you can do better now. We're not limited to that. You know, we can do better, so do better. Whenever I see it now, I just think it's lazy. Hi Mac, I know this is from Kern. I know you're a fan of original Zed from the Bitmap Brothers. Did you ever play the Chaos Engine, and what did you think of it? I love the Chaos Engine. Yeah, I mean, when I don't know what age I was, but I remember I negotiated with my girlfriend, who I ended up marrying, that on a Tuesday and a Thursday I could go down my mate's house, and I'd have to see her Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And on a Tuesday and a Thursday, I'd go down my mates, and we'd get the Amigas out, and we'd play all of these kind of games. Chaos Engine, Dragon's Breath, we played that. The original Zed was amazing because there was an adult-themed WAV that you could get for it, which changed all the speech in the game to swearing. I mean, like, if it'd say, hey, let's get him, when you moved a guy to attack somebody, your guy would say, hey, let's get him. But in the new one, it'd say, hey, let's fucking get him. And it was great. And we had that in, and we'd play Zed all night. We'd just play that to death. When I reviewed Zed on the Worth a Buy channel earlier this year, was it? Or was it last year? I can't remember. I raped it because I was so looking forward to reliving what Zed was. And they messed it up so bad, I couldn't believe how shit it was. And it should have been so much better. But that was one of the first RTS games ever made, Zed, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as Dune 2, which was the first RTS game that I ever played, but Zed was really good. So yeah, Bitmap Brothers were great back in the day. They were really good. They did another one that I can't remember the name of it, but it was another good one. I can't remember. So there you go, guys. That's the questions done for this Q&A. This is the first Q&A. I'll be doing another one around about February, March time. All my donators in the right price bracket. If you want to start sending in new questions, you can do. I'll start compiling them. The next thing I'm going to be doing is going to be the Game of the Year video, and then I will be doing some a topic discussion. The last one was the state of the gaming industry. I don't know what this one's going to be on, but I've had a few suggestions, so keep them coming in as well. And have a great new year, and I'll see you later.